Welcome to The Gag Is Podcast with me, your host, Charlie Shantae, where I share the roller coaster of my life, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. After becoming a teen mom at 14 and a widow by the age of 21, it's a journey filled with tears and laughter, reminding you that even in the toughest moments, there's hope. The gag is, life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the TheGagIsPod. I am your girl, Charlie Shantae. Thank you for joining me on another episode. And like I always say, if it's a new episode, then it must be Friday. So thank you for tuning in, or whatever day you're listening to this. It doesn't matter. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, please make sure you are following us on IG at TheGagIsPod or on YouTube at TheGagIsPod as well. Before we get started, go ahead and grab your drink. Whatever it is that you get when you listen to this, hopefully you listen to this in the car on the way to work, turn it up, drink your coffee, whatever you do. So today we're going to be continuing on with our back to school series because there's a few more weeks before school starts. So I want to make sure that, each week I'm not overloading you with stuff to do for back to school. So this week we're going to talk about clothes shopping. Now, I think this is like the biggest pet peeve of back to school shopping because, it's the most expensive in my opinion, the clothes, the shoes, the accessories, the toiletries and different stuff like that. So this has to be the most expensive portion outside of sports. This has to be the most expensive portion of back to school. And I got my notes over here because when it comes to back to school clothes shopping, like there's a lot to unpack there. And I know for a fact that I've been trying to get new face socks for 2 weeks. We went to the store this morning and I still forgot socks. We got halfway home. I looked at him. I said, you know what? I said, we forgot socks. And he was like, oh yeah. So I'm going to have to make a trip one of these days this week to get socks. Now, this week or this month, I should say, instead of doing a tax-free weekend, Florida has opted to do a tax-free month. So that means clothing, shoes, and anything under $100 is tax-free. Some laptops and some other back-to-school items are included as well. So you just have to check out the Florida website just to see, what is included on that. So my first tip for you guys is going to be prevent over shopping, which prevents overspending and it keeps you on budget. I feel like when you go into clothes shopping with a budget, it makes it much easier for you. Because if you say, oh, I'm only going to spend $400, my max is going to be $500, because you do have to have that cushion. Because if your child is going from a small size and then, if they're right on the border and they're going into that next size, then you have to allow a little cushion, because the bigger the clothes, the bigger the shoes, then sometimes there is a price jump. So I would say give yourself that cushion, give yourself that margin. But absolutely stay on budget. You can't go in the store and be like, oh, so you like that? Oh, you like that? Well, let's go ahead and get it. Because when you go in the store, you just grab, messes up your budget. And then your budget's blown. One thing that I did not put in here, but it just came to my mind as I'm recording this, is in order to stay on budget, I use cash. I set aside a weekend that I'm going to go and I use cash, because it's easier to stay on budget with cash than it is with a card. Because with a card, you're not thinking about it and you're just swipe. When you have a cash, when you start buying stuff and you see, oh, okay, my money dwindling down a little bit, then you're like, okay, I have to be conscious about what I'm going to continue to buy next, because I don't have that much money. I do bring a card with me just in case, like I need like a little overage or something. But for the most part, I don't rely on my cards for shopping unless you're going to use on your credit card and then you're going to pay that money back. But that's not what this episode is about. Tip 1, stay on budget. Tip 2, I feel like this is the most important, because I'm guilty of this too. And I've done this in the past years, from the time Marco Polo was in school up until now. I'll just go out there and shop. And then both of them end up with an excess of clothes, and then they end up with clothes. I know it was like 2 years ago. I didn't go through New Face's stuff, and he ended up with about 7 brand new outfits that he hadn't worn, shirts, pants. And then by the time I discovered them, they were too small and I had to give them away. It was stuff that still had the tags on it. So in order to prevent from doing that, my tip number 2 is sort through last year's clothes to determine if there are any clothes that are salvageable. I always make sure I go through New Faces clothes, because where is the rule that says that kids have to have a brand new wardrobe when they go back to school? Now, I get it. I do get it that you want your kids to have the latest and the greatest, but also the latest and greatest costs money as well. What you can do is see what your child has. And so now that New Face is in high school, what I've done is I'm starting to create him like a quote unquote capsule wardrobe. So he's going to get a certain number of shirts, a certain number of pants, and then he's an athlete. I know what my child wears. I know what he doesn't wear. So I know I'm not going to, I'm going to look at what he has, see if there's anything salvageable. Then we'll take it from there. So if he gets rid of 4 shirts, then I know that I need to buy 4 shirts. If he gets rid of 5 pair of pants, I know he needs 5 pair of pants. He's been needing a lot of pants because he's just been growing. He's at that 6 foot mark now. So, he got to get new pants. But if I say he need 10 pants and 10 shirts, then okay, that's cool. If you got rid of 4 shirts and 5 pants, I know I got to go get you 4 shirts and 5 pants, and you going to be made whole. I know he don't like shorts, so I would not go buy him shorts. I know he likes sweatpants. I'll buy him sweatpants. I buy some jeans. He's in this baggy phase that all the kids have gone through, including myself, that they like the baggy pants. And stuff like that. So that's kind of where we are. But go through their stuff first, and this will prevent you from over shopping. I can't stress this enough, because if they have, it's okay to get them some new clothes, like I said, but no need to over shop. And because they gonna tear it up, it's gonna get a stain on it, it's going to get whatever. And the way that I do it during the school year is if something becomes too little or it gets ribbed or it gets a stain on it, then I replace as needed. I just don't start the whole entire school year off with a fresh wardrobe. It's not necessary. He don't need 5 new outfits for the whole first week of school. My child, he going to wear the same 5, 6 shirts anyway. So I ain't finna go out here and spend a whole bunch of money. He's going to wear the same stuff over and over. So I make sure that his shirts can coincide with his pants, and he can make different outfits like that. He not finna get a shirt that only go with this pair of pants, or this pair of pants that only go with this shirt, because then if something happened to one or the other, then he can't wear that outfit no more because he ain't got nothing to coordinate it with. So 2, sort through last year's stuff to see what is salvageable before you go out there and you ball out and you get most stuff. 3, this one is the most important. And I feel like some people down on this, and they frown upon this, but I feel like this is the best piece of advice for cost saving. And I might actually add another piece to it. If your child has an older sibling of the same gender, see if there are any clothes that doesn't fit them anymore and that they can pass down to siblings. This has been so helpful to me because Marco Polo is 6'5". New Face is 6 foot. So there are some pants and some shirts that Marco Polo doesn't want that he gives to New Face. And when he does that, that adds into what he already has, which means I don't have to buy that much more stuff, especially when it comes to pants and sweats and different stuff like that. I don't have to do that because he already got it. So it saves me. And I would also say on this, if you have friends that have kids that are a little bit older than you and they outgrow their stuff, see if you can get some of their stuff as well. There's no law that say, that you can't wear old clothes, because when you think about it, some of the old clothes are starting to come back into style. There's nothing that says that you can't wear older clothes or whatever. And how the kids gonna know that them kids that you didn't buy those clothes brand new? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, utilize your resources. Because I know when New Face was a baby, like I used to get clothes from other people, like baby clothes and stuff. And Ain't nothing wrong with them clothes because they gonna grow out of it, and New Face is still growing. So there you go. If I have clothes that are too small for New Face, I have people that I know that if Lorenzo has a pair of jeans that's in good condition, I'll be like, hey, I got these size pair of pants. Can your child wear these, or would you like these? Because I can put them in a bag. I can bring them to you. I can meet you. I know I post on the HOA thing, be like, if there's anybody in the neighborhood that son wear this size, I have a couple pair of pants. Would you be interested in them and stuff like that? There's nothing wrong with that, especially in today's economy, because everybody can't afford all the clothes. So I would say utilize what you have either from an older sibling, or if you have a cousin, a neighbor, a good friend, or somebody that has clothes that maybe it can fit your child and the clothes are in good condition. Go for it. Who gonna know? Ain't nobody gonna know. Your child is at school, your child is closed. So who gonna know? Less is more. Let me say this again. Less is more. Because just like how we go out and we buy all these clothes, laundry got to get done. And don't nobody want to be doing laundry all weekend because we have all these clothes. Okay? We're not finna do that. Less is more. So this portion is pretty much tailored to kids. So this portion is for my people who kids is in private school or they are in charter school. I've been in this situation, so I can kind of speak for both sides. When your kids are non-uniform wearing, my suggestion is create a capsule type wardrobe, create interchangeable outfits. And like I previously mentioned, prevents clothes from not being worn often. In an event that something gets messed up, I was ahead of myself. You can still wear the matching pieces. If you got to stick with the basic colors, white, black, brown, blue, red, whatever, and just different washes of jeans to make it interchangeable, do that. You at school to learn. This ain't no fashion show. You there to learn. Get your little jacket to go with it or something, because kids love sweatshirts in the summertime. Get them a sweatshirt, different something like that. Just something to help them to go with their stuff. For my people that have uniforms, don't break the bank on this. I know that when you go to open house, they be like, well, you can order the uniforms here and, it'll be easy. It'll just come to the school or you can have it come to your house or whatever. Before you do this, there are always groups on social media that pertain to that school that a parent has started, and they may be offering up uniforms because their child went to that school last year and they have outgrown that. Instead of paying $20 for this shirt with the logo on it, they may just be trying to get rid of it and maybe charging $7 for it. Check these groups first instead of just going buying new shirts and then just kind of pass down. Like I said, if the clothes are clean, they're not torn, they don't have stains on them, and, once you get them, you can wash them again. This kind of saves money, because then I know when New Face went to charter school, we ran into the issue that they didn't have enough shirts because they buy a certain number of shirts and put the logos on and send them out like that. He actually had to wait. And so for a couple of weeks, he had to go to school with non-logo branded shirts. To prevent this, check your local groups. I know some people are like, I'm not doing that. Sometimes you got to put your pride aside to save a couple dollars. I put my pride aside to save me a couple dollars. No shame in my game. None at all. You can also shop thrift stores that are local to your area. Like every little school area has a thrift shop, and they're going to have these back to school shirts, these uniform shirts, shorts, skirts for the girls and different like that. Check there too, because they do have the logoed ones. I've seen that they have the logo ones for the different charter schools that are in the area that I live in. So check there too, because those shirts be like $5, $6. Like I said, you bring them home, you wash them up. They're going to be good as new, because if they elementary, they're going to get dirty at PE. They're going to spill food on them. They're going to get tore up anyway. And I'm okay with losing a $6 shirt than I am losing a $20 shirt. It's just me. That's, you know, um, for shoes, parents, this parents, teach your kids how to tie their shoes. Okay. Cause you cannot send your child to school with Crocs on. They need real closed toe shoes. Crocs ain't it. And that's fine. You be like, well, I can get my kids the shoes that got that just slip on. That's fine. But you still need to teach your kids how to tie their shoes. Cause all shoes ain't slip on. Don't let your child be 9, 10 years old, can't tie their shoes. No, they can't be grown and just, I can't get these shoes because I have to tie them. I don't know how to tie my shoes. No, you better show them the bunny loop method or whatever it's called, a bunny foo ear. I don't know what it's called, but teach your kids how to tie their shoes. Kids must go to school with closed-toe shoes. Crocs are not considered closed-toed shoes, okay? They're closed-toed on the front, but not in the back. When I was a teacher, I cannot tell you how many times kids wore Crocs to school. Not only should they not wear Crocs to school, because when it comes to PE, you can't participate in PE with Crocs because it doesn't have ankle support and it doesn't have support on the back. And now your child losing out on a grade because they can't participate in PE because they ain't got no closed-toe shoes on. Parents, do not send your child to school with Crocs on. Okay? Don't say, well, I can send my kid to school with Crocs on and then they can change for PE. Why are we doing all this? Just send them out the house with the correct pair of shoes the first time and just let it go. I don't care if little Johnny don't want to wear no tennis shoes. Little Johnny need to wear some tennis shoes because in an event they got to run or something like that. Little Johnny ain't going to be at the ortho doctor because he got a broke ankle because he ain't had no support because he was wearing Crocs and had them in sport mode. Okay. Tennis shoes and like I said, any hard bottom shoes because they're going to provide the best protection for the foot posture. And like I said, they can't participate in PE with Crocs on. They can't participate in PE with flip-flops on. Them little cutesy sandals and stuff like that. Them little jelly sandals. Tennis shoes. They ain't got to be the nicest tennis shoes. Go to Walmart. They have tennis shoes. Support is support. Okay? You got to stop this stereotype that all of our kids' clothes got to come from the mall. Okay? They ain't got to come from the mall. Okay? And last but not least, I've said it before, a limited wardrobe reduces laundry. You do not want to spend all weekend doing laundry. You have 7 outfits. That way, if you don't do laundry over the weekend, they still got 2 more till you can get to it. Okay. This reduces the laundry. And, since we're doing this, let me go ahead and give y'all the you can't make this up. Newface had his 5 teeth pulled a couple days ago. He's doing well, but let me tell you, Buddy ain't do good. He did good until we got home. And then he got home and he started crying and he trying to take gauze out his mouth and he was bleeding out. It was a mess. It was a mess, but nonetheless, it was funny. I may throw a couple clips on there if you go to YouTube and watch this, then I'll insert a couple of clips in there, of him after the dentist. And, you can kind of see how that went. Last, but certainly not least, my song lyric of the week, I'm being a little silly with it since we're talking about clothes and we're talking about back to school shopping and wardrobe. I picked this song as a joke. Okay. And I felt like it's kind of funny because when kids get out of school, the first thing that they do is they come home, they change their clothes and they throw their clothes on the floor. Right. So I picked Nelly Hot in here because the lyrics say it's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. That's fine. You take your clothes off and put your clothes in the dirty clothes. See, that's my little jokey joke. It's getting hot in here. Put them clothes in the laundry. Don't just take your clothes off and put them everywhere. Take clothes off and put them in the laundry. I don't want to see clothes all over the floor. Okay? Pick the clothes up. If you got to take clothes off, and you change your clothes, put them in the laundry. Don't put them on the floor. So my song lyric of the week is Nelly Hot in here. I hope y'all understood the joke. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But as always, make sure you follow us on IG at TheGagIsPod. Make sure you follow us on YouTube as well at TheGagIsPod. Make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're subscribing so that when anytime a new episode is released, you're one of the first people to know that the episode is release. Until next time, I'm your girl, Charlie Shantae. This is the Gag Is Pod. Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning into the Gag Is podcast. I hope you're enjoying my journey as much as I am enjoying sharing it with you. Before we wrap up, I have a small request. If you found inspiration in my stories or my guest stories, don't forget to share this podcast with your friends and family. Together, we can spread the message of resilience and hope. And if you have a moment, please take a second to rate and review the show on your podcast app. 5 stars, please. Your feedback helps me reach even more listeners who might need a dose of encouragement. Remember, the gag is life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living. So until next week, bye guys.